Hello, Anne. My name is Kim, and I'm Natalie's homeroom teacher. I have something important to discuss with you. Do you have some time right now?
How did you get my contact info?
I have your phone number listed as Natalie's emergency contact, so that is how I managed to message you here.
Then wouldn't it be better to directly call me on the phone instead?
No. I believe it would be better to discuss it here through messages instead of calling you on the school phone. It is slightly more on the personal side. I cannot contact you via phone because it is only reserved for emergency situations.
Huh? Then this is also not a good idea either. You shouldn't be contacting me here.
No, it's okay. It's outside of school, so it's fine to talk with you.
I'm still not exactly sure why you think it's suitable to be messaging me privately like this. Your argument doesn't quite work in your favor.
It's okay, don't worry about it. Earlier, I spoke to Natalie and something caught my attention.
Did something happen to her on her first day of school?
Well, it seems like Natalie doesn't have a father. Is that correct? I would like to discuss that with you in more detail here.
Why? That's personal information. I'm not obligated to share it.
So, you don't want to discuss it with me?
Please just get to the point already. Why are you asking me about such a thing? Is there a problem with Natalie's father not being present?
Well, if there isn't a father around, then that means you are a single mother. Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I'm very sorry to say this, but our school doesn't quite accept students who are raised in single mother families.
Excuse me?
We are concerned about whether or not single mothers are able to provide for the student, especially in regards to the tuition. And it's uncertain if single mothers are able to properly support their children with their education. Our school is very well known. We are proud to serve upstanding families in our community. The tuition is also known to be quite expensive. I believe the tuition may be out of the budget of single mothers.
I'm absolutely speechless. Is this what a teacher should be saying? You're basically telling me to get out of this school, right? Just because I'm a single mother? You found my phone number just to tell me this?
Please stop. I'm simply trying to explain the reality of things. If this was a problem solved simply by discussing, it would be nice, but the reality is different. It would be quite troublesome for us if you were unable to pay the tuition.
I see. Then according to your logic, there is not a single student being raised by a single mother in your entire school?
I'm not sure about that. This is my first time being a homeroom teacher, after all.
What? Are you serious? Then you're saying you just graduated from school and got your teaching license?
Yes. Is there a problem?
Wow. I'm really speechless then. You've really got your priorities backwards. You've barely been a teacher for a year and you're going on and on about all this stuff. You really need to reevaluate yourself.
What do I need to reevaluate about, though?
Isn't it obvious? You clearly look down upon single mothers.
What are you talking about? I'm not looking down on anyone. As I said, I am simply trying to explain the reality of things to you. Our school would be difficult for single mothers to handle.
You're basically looking down on single mothers, though. How is that not clear to you? Your attitude and words are clear as day.
No, I'm really not trying to look down on you. I was raised by a single mother myself.
I find that incredibly hard to believe.
It's true. When I was little, we weren't able to afford the schools I wanted to go to. I spent the majority of my childhood and adolescence being poor. I completely understand the struggles of single mothers. They really don't have any luxuries or extra time to themselves. But one day, my mother finally got remarried. Since then, my life changed.
Okay, I see.
Because I was able to finally have a father figure in my life, I was able to enjoy life to the fullest. That's why I'm talking to you about this. It's because of my own experiences that I wanted to give you a warning in advance.
I understand what you're saying. Your name is Kim, right? Let me think about it for a bit and I'll get back to you.
Thank you for understanding.
Principal Johnson? May I have a word with you? You don't have to call me Principal Johnson. No need to be so formal. Anyways, what can I do for you?
I want to talk to you about one of your teachers, Kim.
Ah, yes, the new hire, right? What's going on? Were you the one who decided to hire her? Yes, that is correct. Did something happen between you two?
Yes. She just told me that my daughter should drop out of school right now.
What? Why would she say something like that?
She said it's because I'm a single mother. Apparently, in her world, single mothers can't properly provide for their children. She said I won't be able to pay for the tuition. No matter how you look at it, there's no way this woman should be a teacher. I've never met someone as rude and arrogant as this woman. I'm so sorry. This is my fault. I overlooked this aspect of her and should have been more careful. No, it's fine. I'm not necessarily here to blame you or anything. I understand you interview a lot of candidates. Mistakes happen. Anyways, I'd like for you to fire her immediately. You can do that, right? Fire her. Yes, I understand. Could I just ask you one thing? Did she tell you all of this in person? No, she messaged me privately. She must have found my number listed as Natalie's emergency contact. That is absolutely against school rules. Even if it wasn't a rule, this is just blatantly unprofessional. I will investigate this and immediately take action. She will be fired. Thank you. She was quite confident in herself that she wouldn't be punished for messaging me privately. I'm glad this problem surfaced sooner rather than later. If we didn't realize this, she would have ended up being with the students for a whole year. Who knows what could happen? Exactly. I completely agree with you. I'm very sorry about all of this. I will take responsibility. Like I said, it's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. No, as the principal, and especially as the one who ultimately hired her, this is my responsibility to bear. I will share what happened with my colleagues to make sure this does not happen again. It could take up to a week for all of the disciplinary procedures to finish, so... It's alright. I'll leave it all up to you. You've really changed a lot since we first met. I remember those days when you were practically a different person. It's all thanks to you, of course. I've been able to improve myself in so many different ways. And as the principal, I really need to be able to take care of my school responsibly. I'm glad you feel strongly about this. Let's talk again later. I'm counting on you. Thanks for waiting, Kim. Oh, you've already made your decision. That was very fast. Yes, it was a simple decision to make. Yes, I'm glad you think so. We can't allow a student to come to our school without being able to pay for the tuition. Please consider going to a public school. It will be financially better for you. You must not be aware of this, but I am the chairwoman of this school. What? Allow me to say that again. I am the chairwoman of this school. No, you're not. The chairwoman has a different last name than you. You must be bluffing. It's quite obvious. Yes, you're right. I'm currently using my maiden name. Your maiden name? When did you change it? After my husband died, I decided to go back to using my maiden name. But my name didn't change in the school, so that's why you see something different. That's interesting. Maybe I did hear something like that before. I gave a speech to all the faculty members leading up to the first day of school, too. You must not have paid any attention whatsoever. I'm so sorry! Oh, really? I deeply apologize. I honestly had no idea. I'm very sorry. I take back everything I said. Please, I genuinely had no idea. Okay, so you want to take everything back. Now what? What do you mean? Do you think this is all over just because you've apologized and taken back your words? There's no way you're getting off that easily. I'm impressed you even thought you could wrap things up so quickly. No, I mean, that's not what I mean. Well then, care to explain? How do you plan on taking back your words exactly? How will you show responsibility for your actions? I've been very rude to you, so I want to apologize. So, when you didn't know about my position, you didn't think it was rude? No, of course not. That's not what I mean. Let me ask you once more. How do you plan on taking responsibility for your actions? I really believe that what I said was deeply inappropriate and unprofessional. Do you believe they are inappropriate only to me or in general? They're inappropriate to everyone in general. I shouldn't have said something like that. So why would you say something like that in the first place? It's because I recently had a similar situation with a widow. That's why I felt like it was necessary for me to mention such a thing.
Just because someone was widowed doesn't mean it gives you the right to make such comments. You really don't understand anything at all. You're fired.
What? I'm fired?
Yes. Don't make me repeat myself. Why are you so surprised? I thought the result would be pretty obvious.
But getting fired over something like this is... Why are you firing me? Is it because I said something rude?
No, it's because you used a student's emergency contact for personal reasons. This is a huge breach of school conduct. We cannot have an instructor at our school breaking such rules. I can't trust you to properly take care of and look after the children.
I think you're exaggerating the severity of this issue.
And also, you have no authority to go after parents who may have financial troubles. That is not your department. Your job is to teach and guide the students, not come after people like a loan shark. Your comments were rude and you blatantly looked down on me for thinking that I can't afford tuition. There will be a disciplinary meeting, but the result will be the same regardless. You're fired.
But I have a reason for my actions, though. I have experience being raised by a single mother. I understand the struggles, so that's why I wanted to discuss them.
Yes, you already mentioned this.
I know, but I wanted to reiterate the fact that I couldn't go to the schools I wanted to. I worked extremely hard and finally got my teaching license. It's always been my dream. So why is Natalie able to afford going to private school? I just couldn't wrap my head around it.
I understand your frustrations, but are you seriously trying to take them out on a 6-year-old? You're genuinely jealous because of my 6-year-old daughter? You, a grown woman, truly need to reevaluate your choices in life.
But I wasn't as fortunate as Natalie growing up. I had to wear secondhand school uniforms.
But even then, you were able to become a teacher. It's great that you worked hard for your goals.
It's true that I worked really hard to reach my goals. But because I wasn't able to afford most of the things growing up, getting a proper education was hard. I could barely afford going the normal route of going to college and getting licensed. It was incredibly long and difficult for me. I worked hard every day just to try and get to where I am. And what about Natalie?
Ah, yes. Now I understand why you're being so ridiculously jealous of a 6-year-old. You haven't grown up at all. Anyways, are you still at the school?
Huh? Yes, I am.
Please leave the school grounds immediately. If you try to stay, I will call the security guards.
What? But why?
I think it's quite obvious. You've just started working at the school, so there's not much we need to do for off-boarding. There's nothing for you to pass on to your replacement. You don't need to inform your students either. Please leave.
Did you even listen to anything I had to say, though?
Yes, but it doesn't change the fact that you will be immediately fired.
Did you hear how hard I worked to try and get my teaching license? To get to where I am right now?
I heard. It has nothing to do with my final decision. Principal Johnson has been friends with me for a long time. She also came from a similar background. She grew up very poor and lost her mother suddenly in high school.
What?
But she also worked hard, juggling part-time jobs while studying to become a teacher. She's one of the hardest working people I've ever met. She entered college with a scholarship, graduated with flying colors, and now has finally become a principal. Unlike you, she's never tried to flaunt how hard she's worked. She's never asked for pity. She only looks forward and works tirelessly for her dream to become an outstanding educator.
But I'm not trying to flaunt.
Well, I know that everyone has their own circumstances. Of course, it's nonsense to try and compare who worked harder or who had a rougher childhood. But the fact that you're comparing yourself and being jealous of a 6-year-old is an absolute disgrace. Everyone here at the school works hard, if not even harder. Don't try to put yourself on a pity pedestal.
I'm very sorry.
Now, if you understand, please leave the school right now.
Hello, Mrs. Vasquez. It's Kim. It's been a very long time since we last spoke.
Are you still using students' emergency contacts to reach out to parents? I'm amazed by your audacity. It seems like you haven't reflected on your actions at all in the past 6 months.
I'm truly sorry. But there's one thing I really wanted to discuss with you about, and there was no other way for me to reach you. Is it true that I've been blacklisted from all the schools in this area?
Correct.
But what do you mean? Why, though? No matter what school I apply to, I can't even get past the resume stage. Please don't tell me that you've told all the other principals in this area.
Correct.
But why? Is that all you have to say?
Do you have any other questions? If not, then our conversation is over.
Please, I'm begging you. I don't have anything else besides my teaching license. If I don't get a job as a teacher, then what else am I supposed to do in life? I can't be banned from being a teacher.
What are you talking about? You're not limited from finding other jobs. There are tons of people out there with teaching licenses that end up succeeding in other industries. You have a college degree and you're still young. I'm sure there's something out there for you.
How do you even have the qualifications and the authority to do such a thing, though? How can you simply decide how someone gets to live their life?
Oh my, sometimes you really do say such interesting things. That's rich, coming from a person who judged me and tried to tell me how to live my life. After that, Kim hit a roadblock in her career as an educator. She managed to find part-time work at a school, but things quickly soured when she became jealous of her colleagues. She ended up getting fired again. In the end, she settled down in a job completely unrelated to the field of education. I do feel a bit bad for her because of her twisted beliefs and sense of entitlement. But of course, there's no way I can overlook her actions, especially given my position on the Board of Education. Hopefully, there are no children at her new job for her to get jealous of.
Amanda, you left quite early today. I was hoping that we could talk a little more. I mean, our seats weren't even close to each other. You know how much happier it would make me if we talked more.
Sorry, Mom. The thing is that I was with my friends, so... Plus, I have a big test I need to study for tomorrow. That's why I needed to hurry back right after the funeral ends.
Yeah, but it's been a long time since we saw each other. I didn't know that we would meet again in such an occasion. What a delightful coincidence. You became so mature I almost couldn't recognize you.
I didn't know you would be there, Mom. I mean, it was my friend's mom's funeral.
When your school used to have open houses, your friend's mom and I talked a lot about you guys and the school. So naturally, when I heard that she passed away, I had to see her one last time.
I see.
I wonder why your father wasn't there, though.
The two of you are never seen together ever since the divorce. I think it's pretty obvious why. Plus, he has work to do.
Well, it's not like I want to see him or anything. I think that it's best for the both of us to not see each other. Amanda, you know, I really appreciate you giving me your number despite that incident.
Mom, I've been wanting to ask you this for a very long time. Why did you suddenly disappear back then? I was so shocked to find out that you were gone. When I asked Dad about it, he just told me to forget everything about you.
There were many reasons behind it. But then, of course, there was the determining factor. And that was money. I was tired of us being as poor as Job's turkey.
What do you mean?
Your father had an annual income of only $15,000. With that being said, I had to work my job from sunrise to sundown in order to put food on the table. That's the life I was sick and tired of.
That's why you abandoned me? You didn't have to leave me too.
No, I wanted to take you with me at first, but I didn't have enough money to provide for both you and I at the time. Plus, you have always been a daddy's girl, so I couldn't just separate a daughter from her father.
But still, don't you think that it's a little too irresponsible for you to just leave the house like that?
I know that it was not the best thing I ever did, but I wish you could put yourself in my shoes and think for a second. I was feeling burnt out back then due to the stress I had from overworking. You know, because of how poor we were. Imagine if I didn't escape from that environment. I definitely would have developed serious mental health issues.
That's enough. I know what you're trying to say. I won't blame you for what you did in the past.
I really appreciate it. You've always been a kind child, Amanda. Are you a college student already?
Yeah, I go to this college in New York.
I'm impressed. I guess you have worked hard to get where you are right now. I mean, it must have cost you an arm and a leg to be able to afford high school and college.
Well, Dad works hard to give me the best life I can have.
Oh, is that so? He really worked his head off for you then.
Yeah, Dad is a hard worker for sure. He never puts himself first. Instead, he works hard for the people around him. That's why I respect him.
I mean, he's a good person, all right, but I'd rather not live with him.
Well, the two of you must have had something going on that I'm not aware of. Isn't there a backstory that's unknown to me? What made you guys break up?
I'm happy that you get what I'm trying to say so swiftly. Regardless of your father, I want to see you and know how you've been, Amanda. Please let me in on the details of your life throughout these years when I was not there by your side.
Okay, let's see how I should say this. The problem is, Dad won't like it.
But Mommy has always wanted to see you, Amanda. You're my one and only child, after all.
Fine.
So come see me without your father knowing about it. Like you just said, I think he'll probably stop you from seeing me if he knows.
I see. When are you available?
Does Sunday this week work for you?
That's pretty soon.
Yeah, but that's because I want to be able to see you as soon as possible, Amanda. Amanda, why are you already leaving? You've been here for only 5 minutes. What's wrong?
Who's that guy next to you? He's nothing but a thug.
He's my husband.
Aren't you supposed to come by yourself? I don't really want to meet your husband.
He wanted to know what kind of a person you are, so I brought him with me.
But isn't he way too rude? It's the first time I've ever heard someone say things that lewd.
That's just his way of greeting people. Don't take it the wrong way. When I hang out with my friends, they say even more vulgar things to me. Adults just talk like this to each other.
Okay, but I don't know any adults around me who speak to me like that. It's called birds of a feather flock together. Just because his friends do it too, it doesn't make it right. Are you sure that the people around you are not all sleazy douches?
What's going on with you? Don't say hurtful things like that to me ever again.
It's his first time meeting me. What's more, he knows that I'm his wife's daughter. Do you realize how serious this is? He told me my boobs jiggle nice and that I should wear sports bras so everyone can enjoy the view. What's worse, he wouldn't stop bad-mouthing Dad.
Well, all he did is refer to your father as a pauper. I don't see anything wrong with that. It's the truth. Your dad is in poverty and can't even provide his wife and daughter with a comfortable life. We used to live paycheck to paycheck before. I hope that you didn't forget about all this.
I remember everything, but it doesn't matter if what he said is the truth or not. I don't want to see that man ever again in my life. I won't be coming back again. Goodbye.
Okay, fine. You do whatever you want to. Just listen to what I have to say, even if you probably hate me right now. The reason why I wanted to see you today is because I have a proposal for you.
What proposal for me?
You want to come over to my place? We can all live together.
Excuse me?
I live in a house right now. We have extra rooms, so you can choose one to be your room. I can also provide you with 3 meals a day here.
Don't you think it's a little too late to be saying these sorts of things? Not to mention that this also means me being forced to live under the same roof with that barbarian whom you call husband.
I feel bad for you because you'll have to continue living like a bum with your father if I don't help you out. I talked to my husband and he said yes. See, he has a generous side to him, you know.
What's gonna happen to Dad then? Dad will never let me go live with you guys.
You're not obliged to listen to whatever he tells you. Why don't you just leave your destitute father and live with us? As long as you pay me rent every month, I'll let you live at my place. I can provide you with a life that's 10 times better than the one you have right now. Don't you want that?
Do not speak ill of Dad like this. He's a much more conscientious person than you are since he didn't just leave the house and abandon me.
Being conscientious won't help with putting food on the table. Stop acting like a child and come live with us.
That's not gonna happen. Dad has already bought me a house. I'm happy where I am, thanks.
He bought you a house. How can he buy a house when his annual income is $15,000?
That's a thing of the past.
Don't tell me he switched jobs and has a higher salary now, does he? What's his annual income currently?
Why do I have to tell you this kind of personal information? You're nobody to me.
How in the world can I be nobody to you? I'm your mother.
But you are literally nobody to me. I no longer know you or think of you as my mother.
What's going on with you, Amanda? Why don't you tell me more about your father?
You literally had no interest in him 5 seconds ago. So how can you care for him this much all of a sudden as soon as you hear about his financial situation? Your attitude changes as fast as greased lightning. You're disgusting.
Just tell me how much he makes right now.
Look it up yourself if you're that curious about it, will you?
Oh my gosh, Amanda. He's the CEO of a company right now? How unbelievable!
Yeah, this is the man who you wouldn't stop making a fool of and putting down.
I searched his name and found it on the internet. I mean, how did he even become CEO? Isn't this company pretty big and famous? How did he make such a name for himself as a blue-collar worker?
Dad kept his nose to the grindstone with work after you were gone. After all, he needed to feed me, clothe me, and send me to school. He's the only parent that I had from then on. I guess he knew the reason why you left us. He's not someone stupid, and he knows how much you value money, but hate the fact that he had none. In order to show you what he's capable of, Dad went the extra mile to earn more money.
But he didn't even have any money saved up to start a business in the first place.
His friend lent him a hand and invested money in his company. His friend knows Dad's character and was willing to give him a leg up for his business. Dad really is blessed by this amazing friendship he has now that I think back to those hard times.
And then? How did he manage to climb the social ladder in just a few years and make his brand name well known to the public?
At first, it really was nothing more than an online shopping and delivery service company. Nobody really knew about shopping online or needed delivery service, unlike people do now. Fortunately, Dad didn't give up and tried his luck in the United Kingdom where he hit the jackpot.
Yeah, what he's doing right now is for sure catching the trend. I didn't know that he was a person with this much foresight. Does he work overseas?
Europe is where his business is based. Mostly Dad travels back and forth between the US and Europe. He's recently come to be owner of many real estate properties in different countries.
Seriously? I shouldn't have broken up with him then. I wouldn't have if I'd known. I might have had the chance to become a rich housewife.
I know, right? What a shame.
And then, how did he come to buy you a house?
He lives overseas during most of the year. We've been running all this time in the States, but he still went out of his way to purchase a house just for me. He wants me to live in a gated community with security guards for safety purposes. It's also a very beautiful neighborhood with all kinds of entertainment and breathtaking views.
Wait, so you live there by yourself, as a college student?
When Dad's in America, the two of us live together, but I'm the house owner. He put my name on the deed to the property because he thinks it could help me learn about real estate.
What? What do you mean by that?
He told me to do whatever with the house after I become financially independent. I mean, I can either sell it, put it up for rent, or continue to live in it. It's all up to me. Although he did tell me that I could gain some real-world experience by putting it up for rent or selling it.
How are you supposed to gain experience by just doing that? I don't understand. The way rich people think and act will always remain a mystery to me.
Dad went through a lot of things too while working overseas. He's become keen on education after discussing it with well-known figures around the world. I also want to learn a variety of things from different personalities and scholars.
Imagine spending a fortune on a child. I guess he must be filthy rich right now, isn't he? What's his annual income?
I have no idea.
He's so rich that his wealth can't even be estimated. That's what it is. I'm assuming that you must be getting a lot of pocket money from him right now.
No, that's not the case. I mean, I do get more than the average kid, but it's certainly not as much as you think. Dad still sees money the same way he used to.
But still, he's rich beyond the dream of avarice. Listen up. Wire me some of that money.
Pardon me?
I won't ask for too much. $2,000 a month will do. I'm sure it's only crumbs from the table for you, right?
Dad will never give you any money.
That's why I'm telling you to do it.
Why do I have to give you money?
Because I gave birth to you, remember? So why can't you do something so trivial as this for me? Don't be such an ingrate.
You don't have the right to ask me for money when you abandoned me and left the house.
Shut up and wire it to me. If you don't do it right now, I will come find you at college. You don't want to be pointed fingers at by your friends and classmates, right?
You don't even know which college I go to.
I'll figure it out by all means. Follow my instructions while I still have the patience to ask you nicely. I will make you regret your life decisions if you don't obey me now.
What in the world makes you think that you're asking me nicely? You know what? Talking to a harridan like you tires me out.
Don't get carried away just because you're the daughter of a parvenu now. If you won't stop being proud as a peacock, I'll be the one who'll put you in your right place. There are so many ways I know that could make you pay through the nose.
You have really proven yourself to be nothing but a harridan after all. Well, if this is the road you choose to walk down, then allow me to let you taste your own medicine. I just told Dad that you threatened me. I have no more words for you. Our lawyer will be in touch with you soon.
Seriously, your lawyer?
I will be demanding financial compensation from you for traumatizing me. I felt very endangered by your attitude toward me yesterday.
But you didn't even give me any money. Plus, I don't remember saying anything menacing to you at all. All I asked is for you to give me some money since you're rich now and I'm the person who gave birth to you. Don't I deserve some payback?
You made me feel like my life was at risk when you said that you would make me pay through the nose. After all, I wasn't sure if you were going to put your words into action, because if you did, we don't know what's going to happen to me. So, of course I would feel frightened.
That was just me blowing a fuse in the heat of the moment. I was mad because you refused to send me money even though I wasn't asking for too much.
I don't care. What you did is unforgivable. So don't pretend like you don't remember what you said yesterday. I mean, how can you be so shameless as to threaten me? You're the one who abandoned us, and now you have the audacity to ask me for money? Guess what? You gave birth to me, all right, but you don't deserve to be my mother. It's time for you to know that there will be consequences for what you do.
Amanda, I'm so sorry for what I said yesterday. I was just throwing a fit. Please don't sue me. I can't even begin to imagine how much I'd have to pay, considering your father's probably gonna get expensive lawyers for you.
Your attitude has changed so much I can barely recognize you. Are you that short on money?
To be honest with you, my husband is in debt, so we practically don't have a dime to our names. I have a chronic illness but can't afford to pay for medication and treatment. Also, you running into me the other day wasn't a coincidence. I went there because I thought that maybe I could see you.
You wanted me to come live with you even though the two of you are broke as hell? Why would you want to do that?
I thought that if you lived with us, the money that you earn from your part-time job could help us with the family expenses. Plus, it's not difficult for a young girl like you to earn some fast bucks.
What are you talking about? You're absolutely the worst. You only wanted me to live with you because you were using me as a way to cover costs? How can you do such inhumane things? What's worse, you even wanted me to resort to those types of jobs so that you can earn money?
I just thought that you would have a better life with me than your father. Speaking of annual income, I was confident that ours is higher than your father's, so...
It's not a matter of annual income. I still would have chosen Dad even if he only brings home $15,000 a year. I would never choose someone so terrible like you, Mom. Dad would never in a million years sacrifice me for money. That's why he gives his all at work.
How can you call me a terrible person?
Because that is exactly what you are. The fact that you abandoned me and the way you talked to me yesterday are all proof. Plus, that man you're married to right now is also terrible. His actions and words are both atrociously terrible.
Don't say such hurtful things about him. The problem is, I'm sick right now.
That's called karma for what you've done all these years. Just know that you're not going to be let off the hook just because you're sick.
Please, tell me that you won't sue us, will you? There's no way I could afford to hire a lawyer and go to court given my current situation.
If you want me to drop the charges against you, then you have to promise to never contact Dad and I again.
Is it not possible to sit down and have a talk with your dad first?
He will only talk to you through his lawyer. As for me, I'm blocking you on my phone right now after our conversation. Don't ever let me see you again.
I want to apologize for what I did to you up until now. But trust me, I've tried my best to stay alive till this day.
That's what Dad's been doing as well. That's how he was able to get to where he is now with all the assets he now owns. I respect Dad. I despise you, Mom.
But I feel like you still want to be on good terms with me. I mean, you agreed to see me. Isn't that proof enough?
It seems like I had some unrealistic expectations of you. But after meeting you, I realized that I should never have held those expectations of you in the first place. So I guess in a way, it's good that we saw each other again after so many years.
How does living over here with us sound while your father's overseas? Don't you feel lonely when he's not here?
But weren't you telling me how I have to pay you rent? Plus, how much do you and that guy earn every year?
Us? We have an annual income of $40,000.
Well, it's a lot less than what Dad earns.
Do not compare us to that person.
I would be exhausted if I come and live with the two of you. My mental health would suffer if I only earn minimum wage and have to scrape by like you guys do.
$40,000 a year is not minimum wage.
Okay, fine. Then I'm assuming that there won't be the need for me to go out and work anymore, right? In fact, you know what? Why don't you just work hard yourself and stop trying to freeload off of other people's hard-earned money? Here's the truth, Mom. You're not poor financially. You're poor emotionally. After that, my father was able to get in touch with my mother through his lawyer. My mother promised to never bother my father and I again. Her illness regressed and she's currently chased by debt. It seems like life is not very easy on her. However, I believe that this is what she should get for abandoning my father and me back then. She deserves to get punished and I don't feel any pity for her. Anyways, this has nothing to do with my father and me. We've decided to just forget everything about her. I hope to gain all sorts of experiences during my time in college and be able to help my father with his business someday in the future. At this point in my life, this is all I can do to thank my father for what he did for me. But I will try my best and be the daughter he can be proud of. After all, it's my turn to support my father who's done the same thing for me all these years.
Hey, Sylvia. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys have no children, right? Olivia, it's been so long. How have you been? I haven't heard from you in ages and was starting to get a little worried about how you were getting along. I heard from Mom that you had been in contact with her, but still, I hadn't heard anything directly from you for a while now. Why the sudden questioning now?
Oh, no, there's nothing to be alarmed about. I just haven't felt the need to contact you until now. After all, it's not like we are blood relatives. I don't have to contact you with any frequency. Recently, I have been wondering how you were getting along, so I thought I would drop you a line.
Oh, okay. I see.
Anyway, you never answered my question. Is it true that you guys don't have any children yet?
Yes, that's correct. We don't have any children yet.
For real? Wow, that's so hilarious. I mean, after all, you're no spring chicken anymore. Aren't you aware of how old you're getting? I mean, I'm so much younger than you, and I'm already getting nervous about childbirth at this age.
Yes, well, everyone has their own pace. We just aren't ready at the moment.
Really? Don't you think your pace is just a little bit too slow? I know it's not just me who's wondering. My parents are also concerned about you guys. Haven't they ever said to you, "Oh, I can't wait to cuddle my own grandchildren"?
Well, yes, I have heard that in the past. But I'm pretty sure they are also aware of how busy we are at work and how raising children at this point in time would be a little bit difficult for us.
I don't know if that's the real problem, though. I have a funny feeling that you and my brother are simply pandering to my parents. How long do you intend on keeping up this charade? It can't go on forever, you know.
No, we're not pandering up to them, nor are we pretending anything at all. To tell you the truth, Stuart and I have discussed having children at length, and we both agreed that it's best to wait a little while longer before starting a family.
You're joking, right? That's gotta be the stupidest thing I've heard in ages. How can I be expected to keep pressuring you to have kids when you've already decided not to have them?
My apologies. But like I said, we're both pretty busy at work, and we don't think it's the right time to start raising a family. We're just not in the right financial position at the moment.
You can't be serious! Surely you're both doing pretty well for money. I was even hoping to hit you up for some spare change when I got home. I've spent a fair chunk of my savings. If you can't afford to help me out, what good are you?
Sorry, what are you talking about? Are you saying that you're coming back home from Europe? Is that the only reason you messaged me today? Trying to hit me up for money?
You got it in one! And when I come home, I have decided to move back in with my parents. To be honest, I was really hoping that you guys could lend me some money so that I could get a place to myself. But if you're that short of cash, well, I guess I'll just have to move back home for a while.
Yes, well, you see, the thing is, I have also been meaning to contact you recently with some news. Actually, Stuart and I are also living with your parents at the moment.
What? You're not being serious, are you? Please tell me you're joking.
Sorry, but it's the truth. That's why I was a little bit surprised now when you said you were coming home. If you intend on moving back in with your parents, you need to realize that you will also be moving in with your brother and I. But I have a bad feeling that all 5 of us in the same house might be a little bit difficult.
Hang on, just a moment now. Are you telling me that you are now leeching off my parents? Surely you're not in such a dire situation with your finances that you have to take money from my parents, too.
No, you have it all wrong. It's actually the other way around. Stuart and I have been helping out with your parents. And in the end, we figured it would be easier if we all lived together.
Wow, that's incredibly low. I can't believe you would try to take advantage of my parents like that. And why hasn't my mom said anything about this to me until now? How did it come to this? Now what on earth am I supposed to do?
Well, it's a long story, of course. You know I have a lot of questions for you, too. First of all, why the sudden decision to move back home from overseas? I thought you were engaged to be married to someone over there.
No, I gave up on that idea. It turns out that I must prefer true-blooded American guys. They're so much more masculine than these soft European guys.
Okay, if you say so. I'm sure there's a lot to that story that we don't need to go into here. But how about your job? Aren't you working over there?
Yes, I've been working part-time, and the hourly rate is so much better than back home. It's a good job, since I'm not expected to work any overtime hours. It's a pretty easy lifestyle. However, back home, I don't think I'm very suited to the American workforce.
Yes, well, if you're going to come home, you are going to need to find a job here.
Yes, I know. But I can cross that path when I get to it. For the moment, I really just want to go home and relax for a while. I'm pretty tired from all of my adventures. That's why I was hoping you guys could give me some of your spare cash to tide me over for a while. But now it sounds like you guys have fallen into a rut too.
I wouldn't call it a rut as such. It's not just one little thing. There are quite a few things at play.
But don't you guys both work full-time? I would have thought you would have enough money to spare and share. Man, oh man. How am I supposed to live if you guys can't help me out? All my best laid plans have been ruined.
Your best laid plans? Do you mean to say your plans were to come back and live off our income? Surely you would consider that leeching.
What? I certainly didn't expect to be called a leech by someone who is actually leeching off my parents as we speak. Anyway, that aside, when I get home, I expect you and Stuart to leave my parents' house so I can move in.
What? You're not being serious, are you?
I'm being 100% serious. There's no way I want to live with you and my brother under the same roof. It's more my house than yours. I don't really care if you become childless and homeless at the same time.
I don't think homeless is the right line of thinking to have right now. Anyway, you were the one who left for Denmark all of a sudden, and now you suddenly announce that you are coming back? Don't you think that's a little bit too self-centered?
That's what daughters are meant to do. I'll be like the prodigal child. My parents will welcome me back with open arms. After all, surely I am a better option than the non-child-raising leeching couple. Mom and Dad are going to be so happy to see their cute little girl again.
Well, I don't know about that. I'll have a word with your mother and see what she says. Hello, Kathy. I had a message from Olivia just now. She told me that she is planning to come back to the States. Have you heard anything about this? Yes, actually, I have heard. Is it true that you and Stuart are going to be helping her out financially? What? No! Also, that you are going to be finding an apartment for her and helping her to pay the rent as well?
No. Nothing like that has been discussed or decided at all.
Really? Well, Olivia seems certain that that's what's going to be happening. She told me, Sylvia and Stuart are going to help me out with money for a while. And that's the reason she decided to come home.
I don't know about that. I only had a message from her just now, and that was the first time I heard about her coming home. But you know full well that Stuart and I are not in the financial position to be paying her way too. It's wrong for her to use us as the reason for coming home.
Oh, really? Is that so? Is the rent on a one-room apartment so high these days? If it's going to cost too much, we should all just live together.
Hang on, what? What are you talking about? Are you suggesting what I think you are?
Yes, we should all just live together here in the same house. It's only one more mouth to feed after all. We might need you and Stuart to sleep in the living room for a little while, but that's no problem, is it?
Hang on, wait. You're getting a little ahead of yourself. First of all, you were the one who suggested Stuart and I move in with you. And also, you were the one who said to keep it a secret from Olivia.
Yes, you are right about that. But this is only going to get more difficult if we try to cover up our past. Maybe I should just go and open up a new credit card account. That way we can set it up to make it look like we are paying our own way. All you will have to do is discreetly deposit money into our account monthly.
I don't know what you're talking about. Have you already forgotten what happened last time you owned a credit account? You overdrew the card by too much for too long. You are lucky the bank didn't take your house to make the repayments. There's no way I can let you have another credit card. Anyway, do you really want to go that far to hide your situation from Olivia?
Of course I do. After all, in her eyes, we are the perfect parents. I prefer to keep it that way. All I ask is for you guys to keep up the charade.
I don't see any benefits for us in that plan. There's no way I can agree to go along with that. Given our current situation, it will be impossible to look after Olivia as well.
Really? Come on. You are not the only ones in a tough situation here. After all, my husband and I can't wait to see our own grandchildren. Can't you see how much it is hurting us that you don't have kids? You keep blaming your work and putting a family off longer and longer, while all the time we're sitting here silently praying that you guys will start a family.
Hang on. The main reason we have to put off having a family is because we both have to work extra hard to look after you guys too. Look, I can't go into it anymore now. Just to say, we're not going to be able to look after Olivia too. Please don't agree to anything without consulting us first.
You are so stubborn. After all, it's only one more person in the house. It's not going to change very much at all. On top of that, it's probably only going to be for a short time.
Look, I just want to make myself perfectly clear. I will not live with Olivia. That's on the record now. I'm home! Oh yeah, there's nothing like being back at home, sweet home. By the way, as soon as I got back in, I went through your things and did a bit of a cleanup. All of your belongings are now in boxes on the curb.
What? What are you talking about?
Surprise! It's like a surprise party, isn't it? I came home today and, as promised, I moved back in with my parents.
That can't be possible. I clearly said that I would not live with you.
It doesn't matter what you say or think. After all, you are just a childless couple leeching off my parents. So I moved back in to fill the void of loving child. You guys can become homeless for all I care.
What does your mother have to say about this?
They were over the moon. Naturally, she was very pissed off when I told her how you refused to live with me. But then she calmed down a little bit and is now making me some dinner. It smells delicious.
I see. Well, best of luck to you.
Best of luck to you too.
I'm so glad you are in good spirits. Just so that you know, we didn't have any personal possessions of real value in the house, so we are not too concerned about damage. But you might regret some of your choices fairly soon.
What? Spoken like a true loser. Perhaps you are in shock from the fact that I came back and have taken over the house.
Not at all. In fact, in a way, I am glad you came back. I sort of had a feeling things would go like this at some point. Stuart and I were actually in discussion quite recently about what we should do if things went south.
What are you talking about? Not that I care anyway. Stuart and I were never that close to begin with. I'm glad you guys are happy together. The happy homeless couple. How cute.
The one who will become homeless is you, not us.
Again, what are you talking about? I'm here with my parents in our childhood home.
Yes, but the actual owner of the house is my husband, Stuart. He doesn't intend on keeping it for too long. We have been considering putting it on the market very soon. So you guys had better start looking for a new place pretty soon.
What? You're crazy. My dad owns this house.
Nope, you are mistaken. 3 years ago, your brother and I purchased the house off your parents. Your father was in so much debt he was unable to make the mortgage repayments. So we made an agreement that Stuart would buy the house and we would all live there together.
No, that can't be true. How could that happen?
There were many reasons. Many things happened in the time you weren't around. As soon as they finished their child-raising responsibilities, you got up and left the country. They were a little bit surprised that you took off like that and didn't know what to do with themselves. Your father found the local casino. He became addicted to gambling.
No, that can't be true.
Keep listening. There's more. He then got caught by his company stealing from the accounts and using the money to fund his gambling addiction. Your mother found pleasure in impulse shopping and ran up huge debts on her credit card. Right when they were at rock bottom, Stuart and I stepped in and helped them out. We bought the house off them, but agreed to let them keep living there with us. We have been paying their debts and general living expenses since then.
I can't believe this. You're really serious about all this?
Of course I am being serious. At first, I thought your parents would realize the errors of their ways and try to help themselves. But in the end, it seems that they got used to not working and living the easy life off us. It's been getting worse and worse all the time. Stuart and I were getting rather sick of their rotten attitude towards us.
Yes, I can see how they would do that. Ever since I was a kid, they were not very good at showing their appreciation to people.
Oh, so you did know what they were like. Your brother and I were hoping that there was a shred of decency left in them. But after all this time, we realized that some people never change.
Hang on. Let me see if I understand this correctly. The ones who were leeching were not you and my brother, but my parents?
Congratulations! You win the prize! But seriously, yes, they have been leeching off us this whole time. Your brother and I are such kind-hearted people that we were trying to overlook their problems. We didn't really want to see them get into any more trouble. And it was looking after them that was taking up all our extra time and money.
So, you mean to say that the reason you haven't had any kids yet is because you were looking after my parents the whole time?
Exactly. All of our money has been going into keeping them out of trouble. I don't want to sound rude, but your parents are a little dim at the best of times. But they were so intent on keeping up their perfect appearance to you.
Hang on. So what's going to happen if you guys move out? More importantly, who is going to look after me financially?
Why don't you get your parents to help you out a little bit? Isn't that what you planned on all along? Stuart and I are tired of trying to be so nice to the selfish people that are your parents. But now we can leave and finally be happy.
Hang on. Wait, stop. I apologize. I was wrong to do and say what I did. Please come back. Can't we just talk about this a little bit?
I have nothing more to say to you or your parents. It's only going to be a waste of my time. The house will be sold shortly, so I strongly suggest you start packing up your gear and get the hell out. You're cute, so you've lived your life till now totally relying on other people to help you out. It's time for you to realize just how tough the real world can be. After that, Sylvia and Stuart successfully sold the house for a decent profit. With their newfound extra savings and personal freedom, they were finally able to relax and start a family. Sylvia and Stuart found true happiness with the birth of their first child the following year. As for Olivia, who had lived her entire life relying on the help of others to get by, she now had to survive with her no-good parents. As expected, as they were all equally incapable of looking after themselves, they ended up moving into a run-down little house, and Olivia had to find a part-time job to help pay the way. The saying goes that the fruits don't fall far from the tree, and it would appear that Olivia and her parents never intended to repay the kindness shown to them by Stuart and Sylvia. Luckily for Sylvia, Stuart was one of the good apples.
Congrats on getting married! I can't believe you got married before me! What are you talking about, Rachel? I have no doubt you're going to get married soon, too. You said you were seeing that guy in finance, the stock exchange guy. Oh, yeah, him. He totally lied to me. Stockbroker. He wasn't even in finance. Are you serious? Yeah, so I got rid of him pretty quickly. Can you believe he took advantage of me like that? I'm not young enough to waste my time on guys like him. You have a point. I mean, he lied to you. That says a lot about him. Red flags all over. He's not marriage quality. You married a normal guy with a normal job. You had a normal wedding. Maybe I need to be more like you, Madeline, and not shoot for the stars anymore. Oh, but your man is hella good looking. Oh my God, yes, he's definitely tall. And he cleans up real well for sure. You're really lucky. If it weren't for you, I'd be all over him. To be honest, he's totally my type. Could have been love at first sight for me. Oh, come on. I just got married and I don't want to get into it with my best friend. I'm totally not serious. He's your husband. I'd never. I'm not that desperate. You guys are newlyweds. And besides, he totally only has eyes for you. Sometimes I wonder, though, if he really does only have eyes for me. Sorry, just being paranoid. Don't tell me you're already having your doubts. You just got married. No, never mind. Forget I said anything. Thanks for coming to our wedding today. It really meant a lot you were there, Rachel. You have to promise me you'll be at mine too. I wouldn't miss it for the world. You're probably super busy after everything. So I'll let you go now and connect with you soon. I also want to see your new house too. Thanks so much. I'll reach out once the madness is over. Okay then, take care.
Madeline, guess what? I received an inheritance.
What do you mean? What happened? What are you talking about? Who would you have gotten inheritance from?
So, you know how my parents are divorced and my mom had custody of me. I never saw my dad growing up. I didn't even know where he was. But apparently his dad, my grandfather, was super wealthy. And for some reason, even though I didn't have a relationship with him, he left me something.
An inheritance? Let me get this straight. What I know about inheritances is that there's a lot involved, and it's not as easy as just receiving the money.
What are you worried about? We get $3 million. $3
million?
Yeah, I almost had a heart attack. Plus, we also get a massive house with it.
A massive house? Where is it located?
They said something about an island or something. Apparently he owned a private island. Isn't that crazy?
And you're receiving all of that. And what about your other relatives? Won't they say anything?
Apparently no one wanted an island they'd never heard of before. They also didn't want the hassle of all the legal stuff that comes with receiving an inheritance, so they all declined.
Really? They all declined? What about your dad?
Dad apparently passed away 5 years ago.
What? How do we not know this?
Well, I haven't spoken to or seen him since my parents got divorced. He didn't really have a place in my life. So I'm as shocked as you are about all of this. But I feel like I won the jackpot. I get $3 million just because we're related by blood. Can you believe it?
I understand you got a large inheritance, but I think we should do our due diligence and decide on things carefully. It's kind of weird no one wants it, don't you think?
What is there to be careful about? The slower we are, the higher the chances it'll just get passed on to the next relative. Then we'll be left with nothing. You don't want that, do you?
I don't think it's a matter of who gets to the finish line first.
But if we have $3 million, we can do anything we want. I've made my decision. You even said you wanted a house. We didn't even have to spend our own money, and we now own a super luxe house.
Yeah, a house on an island. We both have jobs here and responsibilities. I have no idea where this island is, but one thing's for sure, we probably won't be able to commute.
We're getting $3 million, babe. I don't think we ever need to work again. I already told my boss I'm quitting next month.
What? And you didn't even think of discussing this with me?
I'm getting $3 million, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'm getting more than I ever will make at this job. Don't worry, you'll be taken care of.
We don't know any details about the inheritance, though. We also have no idea what this island is all about either. I think you totally jumped the gun on making such an important decision.
I don't understand why you're being so difficult about this. It's really annoying how you never support my decisions.
What are you talking about? I support you all the time. All I'm saying is that we need to cross our T's and dot our I's and just make sure we're covered on all fronts.
You're always way too careful, even with our wedding. Sometimes you just need to take the plunge and go for it. Life is all about taking chances, Maddie.
Let's chat about this when you get home.
I'm gonna be a bit late, is that cool?
How late?
I'm just with the lawyers discussing the process and getting the paperwork started.
What do you mean getting the paperwork started? Let's discuss this before you start signing things.
It's all good, babe.
I need you to hear me out.
This is my inheritance, so it's my decision.
Yeah, but we're together, so whatever you do affects me as well.
You have nothing to worry about, babe. It's all happening the way it's supposed to happen. So, I'll be home as soon as I'm done here. It's gonna be a while, though.
This must all be a bad joke, right?
Why is it so difficult for you to support your man? Would you prefer we just break up, go our separate ways?
Wait, what? Why would you even say that?
I'm fine with whatever you want to do. I'm gonna be a millionaire. Chicks will be all over me.
Have you lost your mind? That's how you look at me?
All you have to do is just support my decision. It's as simple as that. Do that, and you become a millionaire overnight too. So just sit tight and relax. I'll be home as soon as I'm done here.
Wait a minute, we need to talk about this. David! Madeline, it's been a while. How are you? I was chatting with David and he told me everything. I heard you inherited $3 million. I had no idea David came from such a wealthy family.
Hey, Rachel, I had no idea you and David were in contact with each other.
Yeah, actually, we reunited by chance at a work meeting. He was the lead sales guy of one of the vendors my company was using.
I had no idea.
But he inherited $3 million, so I imagine he doesn't even have to work anymore. I heard it came with a house too. And that it's on a private island. I can't believe how lucky you are. I've always dreamed of waking up and the first thing I see is the beautiful ocean.
I have no idea about any of the details. David just made the decision without me.
You sound worried. But finders keepers, right? So don't even worry about it. It's $3 million plus a house.
That's not the issue.
I have no idea why you're so worried. I'd be so happy if my man brought home an inheritance like David did. I totally support his decision.
He's quitting his job, too.
I guess island life is in the future. I guess I need to quit my job, too.
What are you talking about? Why would you need to quit your job as well?
'Cause I'm gonna end up living in that house.
What the heck is that supposed to mean?
I mean, you don't support his decision. So I think someone who unconditionally supports him and his decisions like I do is more suited to be his wife. Don't you?
Did you just say you want to marry my husband?
What are you talking about? I guess there's nothing to hide anymore. I've said this much already. Maybe if I tell you we can also get things moving along. So, David and I, well, we've been seeing each other.
What do you mean seeing each other? At work?
I mean, yeah, we reunited by chance at a work meeting and exchanged contact info. He asked me out for dinner a few days later. Remember I told you he was totally my type and I'd get together with him in a heartbeat? So I started thinking that I could just get him to leave you and marry me instead, and then that would be that. I mean, why waste my time and look elsewhere when the man of my dreams is right in front of me anyway, right? So we went on a few dates and it became serious, so we made it official.
Made it official? Are you frickin' kidding me? Since when?
Our anniversary is on my birthday, so like 10 months, I guess.
You've been together for 10 months.
I have no idea how you didn't even notice.
Why would I even think that? You're my friend and I trusted you. So why would it even cross my mind?
Anyway, so that's that. Cat's out of the bag. So will you break up with him for me? I'm the only one who really understands him and gets him. I don't believe this. Do you need proof? Because I have a ton of proof if you don't believe me. I have photos I can send you, not just that, but screenshots of our text messages as well. Videos, you name it, I've got it. Maybe seeing all of this will help set you in the right direction.
Rachel, didn't you tell me you'd never get involved with a married man? That you weren't that desperate?
Technically, he asked me out to dinner first, not the other way around.
Really?
I can't believe him. I mean, I thought about just keeping it super casual, but when he told me about inheriting $3 million, that was like a total game changer. And I just wanted to make him mine. Then I'd be a millionaire's wife with a luxury house on an island.
It all makes sense now. David was super easygoing about telling me that I should leave if I couldn't support his decision. I thought it was really shocking at the time, but I guess this explains it.
That's because you didn't support him. It had nothing to do with me.
No, actually it did. It was because he already had you. And to him, it was as easy as switching batteries or something.
Okay, whatever, you win. Anyways, do we have an understanding now? Are you gonna leave him?
Yeah. Okay then. I certainly don't plan on sticking around with a cheater. I'm out. So you guys do whatever you want.
Oh wow, that was easier than I thought. Thanks so much. I guess I need to get ready to move in with him.
And obviously our friendship is done too.
Yeah, I think that'd be the easiest for everyone involved. And once you see how we're living the life, you may want him back, and I can't have that. So best for you to leave us alone now.
This is all so absurd, and you guys are a disgrace. Bye.
Hey, Madeline. We just turned in our paperwork. We're officially married. Now your husband is officially mine.
He isn't my husband.
OMG, I'm so sorry. I totally keep forgetting. He's your ex now. It's still so fresh. I keep calling him your husband. So I should be calling him your ex, duh. Of course you're not married. You're single now. I keep thinking you guys are still married.
Actually, you're totally misunderstanding.
How am I misunderstanding? You got married and then you got divorced, so he's your ex? You were such a good sport throughout all of this. I can't believe you gave him up so easily.
No, that's what I mean. Actually, I was never married. Let me spell this out for you. David and I were never married, so we never got divorced. I've never been married.
You're not making any sense. What are you talking about? Of course you got married. I was at the freaking wedding. I was your maid of honor.
Yeah, sure enough, we did have a wedding, but we didn't actually sign the documents that day. David messed up getting the papers ready for the big day, and then he never really got around to submitting them later. Anyway, the point is that we never made it official. So that means we were never married and we were never husband and wife.
You never got around to actually submitting your paperwork. How dumb can someone be? Well, I guess it's a good thing, because then this is his first marriage then, not his second.
Yeah, you're right. It's great for me as well, because technically I won't actually be a divorcee. All thanks to my gut instinct. And because I kept pushing the date.
I have no idea what happened, but you kept pushing the date?
Yep. Well, I knew he was cheating on me and...
Wait a minute. What do you mean you knew he was cheating? David and I only started dating 2 months after your wedding.
Oh, no, not with you, with someone else.
With another woman?
Once a cheater, always a cheater, right? After we got engaged, I found out he was cheating on me with multiple women. He even invited one of them to our wedding.
Like, can you believe that? What nerve? Are you kidding me?
I found out about him cheating right before the wedding, and I was really thinking of calling the whole thing off. But he begged and begged and begged for me to forgive him. I was dumb enough to believe him, and we went ahead with it. I fell for the he'd never do it again speech. I don't know what was wrong with me. But then even after that, he started cheating on me with you. I guess people really don't change. And that's why you kept pushing the date to turn in the official paperwork. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was making the right decision, you know, which I knew I wasn't deep inside. Apparently, I worry too much about things and I'm too careful sometimes. Usually that's a bad thing, but I can't help it. I kept second-guessing myself even though I'd said I'd forgive him. But I guess you could say it was a blessing in disguise.
So, congratulations on being his first wife. Once a cheater, always a cheater. He begged for your forgiveness and he cheated on you again? Well, yeah, so there's no guarantee that he won't cheat again. There's no way he'd ever cheat on me. He cheated because it was you. He has no reason to cheat anymore because he has me. So, obviously, he doesn't have a reason to go elsewhere. And once we move to the big house on the private island, it'll be just me and him. No chance to meet another woman. Okay, so about that house? I think it's slated to be torn down by next year. What do you mean torn down? Why would they tear it down? Did you not hear the details about the inheritance? $3 million in cash, the private island, and the house on it. His grandfather was loaded and he left it all to David, isn't that right? Actually, no. Again, you're misunderstanding. His grandfather wasn't rich. What? What are you even talking about? He literally won the lottery once. He won the lottery? That's amazing! Yeah, and he built the house on the island with that money. What's the problem? Rich is rich. The problem is that there's no $3 million either. What do you mean there's no $3 million? His grandfather apparently just wanted to look good in front of others and just wrote $3 million in the will. But reality was that every year he was wasting tens of thousands of dollars because of the taxes and maintenance fees on the house. And now there's only about $30K in the account. Are you kidding me? He said it was $3 million. I heard that his grandfather won $3 million, and he bought the island, built the house, and there were taxes and maintenance, so there's only $30K left. His grandfather really couldn't let his ego go, so he wrote $3 million in his will. Isn't that hilarious? Hilarious? Are you kidding me? And David knew about this? Well, yeah, he'd have to know everything, wouldn't he? The lawyers have a duty to explain everything to him before making things official. But David has a bad habit of not thinking things through and not listening to people. I told him this so many times, but he never listened to me. So I think he thought $30K plus the house is better than nothing. But how can we live with $30K? That's not even near enough. We both quit our jobs because of this. Well, his other relatives didn't even bat an eye at the inheritance. They all knew what was behind the curtain if they agreed to receive it. So they all declined it without a second thought. What inheritance? There's nothing there. And what is this about the house being demolished next year? It turns out David's grandfather didn't actually own the island himself. What? Wait, what are you telling me? I don't get it. Islands are expensive, more than $3 million. So basically, he went in on the island with someone else. They both technically own it. That means the island itself isn't part of the inheritance because the other owner is still alive. And so, since David doesn't actually own the land, the other owner is claiming everything and wants to use the land for something else. That's why David needs to demolish the house. Do you get it now? Is that really legal? I don't know, apparently. Talk about it with the lawyers if you want. It's not my problem, so I don't really care. But then if he tears down the house, then what's going to happen to us? And what do you mean David has to demolish it? It's supposed to be massive, right? That's going to cost way more than $30K. Yeah, well, it's on a remote island. So bringing the equipment alone is going to cost you guys, like probably double or even triple what it would normally cost. You can't call this an inheritance. It's not even close. That's why I wanted to make sure what the details were. But he decided on his own to go ahead with it. He didn't even give it a second thought and just went through with it. And for me, you know, there was the cheating before the wedding and then the cheating with you after. Plus, him not even including me in such a big decision just made me lose all faith and trust in him completely. That's why when you asked me to leave, I left without a fight. I don't understand why David didn't tell me anything. He didn't tell me any of the details of the inheritance. Only that he got a huge house and $3 million. Why wouldn't he tell me any of this if he knew about it already? Well, obviously he knew you weren't going to stay with him if he told you. Yeah, well, no kidding. Of course I wouldn't stay. Well, yeah, of course you wouldn't stay. After all, why would anyone want an inheritance and a huge debt, right? So he didn't tell you. Debt? What debt? I think he just wanted someone to help him with paying his debt off because his inheritance alone obviously wouldn't cut it. So, I think that's why he married you in such a hurry. Remember, we never officially got married, so nothing was ever legal between us. And it was super easy for me to just leave him. Yeah, but what does that have to do with this debt you're talking about? What debt are you talking about? He's never told me anything about having debt. He shouldn't have debt. Demolishing the house alone is going to wipe us out. Remember I also told you that he begged for my forgiveness when he first cheated on me? Well, to convince me, he actually signed a contract. It basically said that if he cheats on me, he'll pay me $1 million. $1 million. It was just a letter and there was nothing legally binding, so I asked my friend, who's a lawyer, to help me out. So she looked over it and we got a witness and everything and we made it a legal document. I think he just wanted me to take him back and he didn't think I was being serious about the agreement. And the same thing with this. He didn't give it a single thought and just signed it. But when I reminded him of our agreement, he'd actually completely forgotten about it. Can you believe it? So that means he needs to start paying you. Yup. I also know he has 0 savings. So he'll definitely have to borrow it from someone. And considering you're his wife, I mean, I don't know the details because like I said, I've never actually been married, but I think you might actually be on the hook for that as well. I don't suppose you have $1 million laying around, do you? What? Are you out of your mind? Of course not. Even if I did, this has nothing to do with me. Well, I'm not a lawyer, so who knows? But I think my lawyer will be contacting you pretty soon about that. I'd appreciate it if you could look out for that. Even though I know you're probably going to be super busy with getting that island back to its original condition. Good thing you both quit your job, so you have the time on your hands to sort everything out. Wait, Madeline, wait! I don't want David anymore. You can have him back. Yeah, no thanks. I don't want a married man. I'll divorce him. No thanks, Rachel. This was all a blessing in disguise, really, and I got to really think about what I wanted, and he isn't a part of that. So thanks for helping me realize all of this. I don't want you to thank me. I just want you to take him away from me. I don't want him anymore. He's a totally useless liar. I told you I don't like liars. Well, it was your choice to be with him. You should have figured out that he was a liar sometime in the 10 months that he was cheating on me with you. Madeline, please help me get out of this mess. Yeah, no, not a chance. You two deserve each other. He has no money. The house which I thought he had is being demolished. He doesn't even own an island. He's a serial cheater and he signed an agreement that says he'll pay you $1 million if he cheats on you without a second thought. Why would I even want to stay with an idiot like him? You should really let him know not to sign legal documents without thinking about it and doing his due diligence. Please, Madeline, help me. Madeline? I was supposed to be the wife of a multimillionaire, not a poor loser like him. David eventually realized the burden he'd put himself into by not thinking twice about the inheritance. Apparently, he left it up to Rachel to clean up. To no surprise to anyone, he'd already used up the $30,000 he'd actually inherited. Rachel lost it on him and gave him an ultimatum: go get a job or she would leave. I heard a rumor recently that they're just barely getting by. But to their credit, they are taking care of the demolition and paying off the debt they owe me in installments. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and send us a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.